to give them a taste, how it would be, and at least, a little bit share what I feel, and maybe give them some point of departure for their imagination. And it worked well, actually. I presented it in 15 states, this kind of concerts, and usually, I'm especially pleased to hear when people, after the concert, people who are not musicians, and who come to me and they say, oh, I'm not a musician, I'm a pianist, but I so much appreciate it, because it helped me understand, because I could never understand what to start thinking, how to make sense of what I hear. So it works, and I'm happy to hear that. And the other thing I was happy to hear that you have this little article, Ryan, the lessons of cartoon, and you are not reading it, you'll read it at your spare time. But I was very happy to find this article because you all know Ryan, right? You all know him. Well, he discovered through the son of Alfred Carton that Carton left 30 hours of taped master classes. And during these master classes, the way he teaches, he provides a story, a narration, or a poem for every piece he teaches. And he taught Bach and Schumann and Beethoven. And when I read it, I was very excited. I thought, okay, they were doing this too, great masters. Okay, so you will read it at your spare time. And the other thing which made me excited, there is a new book on market. It's called Social, but by Matthew Lieberman. And in this book, he actually explains that there are two types of memory system we utilize as people. There is traditional memory system when we have to learn by repeating the material. And there is a mentalizing based learning system, which is based on associations we meet. Okay, this is our social brain. When we gossip or when we try to remember what our friends did and their husbands, we use this part of the brain. And so what all these imagination exercises, they are basically awakening this mentalizing based learning system. And his experiments and experiments of other behavioral scientists, they prove that mentalizing based learning system works actually better. People retain more information and memory works much better. So for our students, if you do that through these exercises, you basically activate the system and it functions as they move much better. And I know my own experience, it works much better because when you have an idea and when you just, as an actor, you go through stages in your piece, your memory works much better for you because you have specific triggers, okay? Well, and time to wrap up, and I guess my main point today was that if we want to become teachers of creativity, and imagination, then we just can't do it. Very simple. And we should do it because we're entrepreneurial, you are, and as long as you receive the pleasure from the process, and as long as you just teach your students to do the same, I guess our profession will flourish, and the situation probably will change because we'll become important again. Because we'll produce and deliver people who are needed on the market, creative people. And remember that one thing to keep your creativity up is to be curious. And curiosity is nothing more than just asking questions. So why don't you go ahead and ask me your questions now? Yes.
There was something I noticed on here that you didn't probably have time to address. I would like to see you tonight, or singing scales.
Oh, that's about scales. Students, they don't like to play scales. And I had a student, she came, she had an assignment to play the G major scale. She was so detached and bored, and I asked her, are scales music? And she said, no, of course not, they're not music. And I said, okay, if they're not music, why don't you just pretend that you sit in class and you see a very cute boy over there, and you say, I would like to see you tonight, and just sing the scale. How would you do that? And she goes, I would like to see you tonight. And I said, okay, and now pretend that you actually went out with this boy, and you got home very late. And so your mom, she calls you, and she's on the phone, and she goes, I would like to see you tonight. Can you do it this way? And she did it this way. And then we did several other options for the same scale, and she realized that scales, they could be music, okay? And so when she's singing a phrase which she can play with, it just helps her, be involved and actually practice her skills. Yeah, there is not enough time to explain every exercise I have, but thanks for asking.
What would be a musical example that you would use just now? The story.
That was basso ostinato. Yeah, the Shedrik is still alive, he lives in Germany. His wife is a ballerina, Maya Plisetskaya, a very famous couple in Russia. Lots of great music he wrote, not very well known in this country. And the same example I played, this one, that's also his music, yes. There are 24 preludes and fugues he wrote for the piano. There's several sonatas, 5 concertos. Fantastic composer. Okay, yes.
I have a question. I have several students who have electric pianos,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wondering, with the whole vibrations and, feeling the connection through your body and everything, that has to be different with an electric instrument.
It doesn't work with an electric piano. Yeah,
So
it
what-
has to be an acoustic instrument.
Do you have any thoughts on?
Well,
No.
get rid of electric
Yeah.
piano. Buy new piano.
Yeah.
But listen, sometimes parents think it's cheaper, or maybe they have a small place. I don't know what the reason is. But very often they think it's cheaper, electric keyboards, okay? You can buy, a used piano. It's not very expensive, but at least it's a real one. Because, it's like having an electronic dog and a real one. Okay? So the one you play online, a friend online, and a real friend. It's a huge difference, right? So that's what it is to me. Of course, sometimes it's useful to have a keyboard, especially when you're in a small apartment and you need to practice it. But overall, if you want to do that, vibrations, forget it. It's not going to work. No. It's good. Okay. Anybody else? No? Lunch.